did it have control over you? Now, if I could start with the slides, I came in to talk about addiction, and there was a variety of things I could have brought forward. How things happened in my life, and my experience with it. But I want to share with you something that's brought me a lot of strength in connecting with others, and the word is empathy. And empathy, I feel, has been the true bridge to connecting with other people. So empathy is feeling and understanding. Both those things are very important. Feeling and understanding. And so, we can go to the next slide. We'll just skip right to the next one. Part of my work has been connecting with so many different people. So, I work as a recovery coach. A recovery coach is a little different than an addictions counselor. I work and I connect with people and I help you find your recovery pathway. I don't tell you what to do. I don't tell you how to do it. I come here and I connect with you and I learn and understand your world. I learn and understand your language. And then we work together to find a recovery pathway that works for you. I also work in the Prison Transparency Project. I work with men and individuals that are coming into the systems, into the prison systems and coming out, and learning how the systems that are in place are actually the lived experience of the individuals that are in them. So there's a difference between the people that come in and the systems say, this is how we treat people, and then we ask the people that were actually in it, is this true? Was this how you were treated? And oftentimes those things don't line up. And if you came to me and I told you what to do, how would you respond? Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me like that. I think I know what I'm handling. And that response is when we come in and we jump and go to, I want to fix it. I'm going to fix you. I'm going to fix all these things about you. Not everyone wants that. Some people just want to be heard. They want to be in conversation. If we come in and we go, oh, this is what you have to do. You got to go to this place. You got to go here. I'm not really connecting. I'm judging. I'm bringing my experience onto you instead of learning to understand your experience. And learning to understand the experience requires empathy. Now, we've heard of sympathy where it's like, ooh, I feel bad for you. In empathy, we are learning to figure out what is that experience and can I take it in so that I feel it, so that I can understand it and then receive it back to you and be like, are we on the same page? There's feeling for and there's feeling with. When I'm with my clients, I want to be standing beside them. Not over them, not under, but beside. We go to the next slide. So there's different types of empathy that exists.
So we have the cognitive, looking at the thoughts intellectually, seeing somebody struggle and being like, I understand that. All in the brain, all in the mind, all in logic. And logic can be a powerful tool. There are some intelligent and thoughtful people in this room that you can see and experience and be like, oh, I understand why those two things don't match up or why that's hard. But sometimes it doesn't get to that deeper level of how it feels when we talk about feeling. And I may disconnect by saying, okay, it's just that. I'll put a label on it. It's just that category. Might be missing something deeper. You might not actually be feeling heard or felt. If we can go to the next slide. We go to the emotional. Emotionally, taking in that emotion, we may have heard of someone who's an empath. An empath is that person who can feel when you feel. So, brother, if you're angry, I'm angry. If you're sad, I'm sad. You know, these are all things that we can step into that feeling. a very powerful tool. We can connect. You know, are you excited? I'm excited. Okay, let's go. It may be a great way to connect. However, sometimes it's not appropriate. If somebody shares this sadness with you and you get so caught up and lost in that sadness that you can't connect, you know, you get caught up and it's too emotional for you. The emotions, they almost drown you. You feel like you're falling into it. And that person who might have come to you for support goes, oh, wow, maybe this is too much for this person. It's too much for someone to get connected to. So we'll move on to the next one. Compassionate. Compassionate is a combination of understanding and feeling. Now, the act of empathy being connecting, understanding, and feeling, if we truly can connect and bring those things in unison, in harmony of one another, then we have this ability and leading to help. And let me say this, it's not for everyone. It can be really hard to feel and to understand, because sometimes we don't understand. Sometimes somebody comes with me with a problem and it doesn't make any sense. Well, why would you do that? Or where's that coming from? It can be so challenging to connect with people who are so different, you know, different walks of life, different paths, and especially in a situation. My parents, born in Bermuda, came in here as immigrants in 1982. They came to this country not knowing much about how Canada works. And to come in, it wasn't my experience, but I understand, based off of talking and being curious, that it was a place where they came in, they didn't know anyone, they had to find friends. There's an element of loneliness. And loneliness is painful when you go out into the world and you don't see anyone who connects with you, or you don't see anyone who is feeling the same way in which you're feeling. And then there was the expectation from the people around them once they came to the country. It was, okay, you're here, hurry up, fit in, do all these things. You got to drive your car on this side of the street now. You're used to this one. Oh, you need to be saying hello. You need to be shaking hands. You need to be doing all these little things. And they go, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. There's no time to process. There's no time to think. And they're trying to provide for a family. I'm the youngest of three. I wasn't born yet, but my brother and sister, 8 and 10, in a new country, needing the mom and dad to find work, to find support. Can you feel the pressure that comes from that? It's almost like a weight. And so when we think about the feeling and the understanding, it's almost like a burden. We're carrying something on our shoulders. It's heavy. And to understand and to look at those things and to take it in requires a lot of work. Let's go to the next slide. So empathy becomes hard when we have people in our lives, and I know not everyone is fully, addiction may not be a part of your lives, but they may be a part of people that you know. And let me know if this sounds like something you've experienced. You have a friend, perhaps he's drinking, perhaps he's using a substance, and it's been weeks of you telling them, okay, you've got to do something. You've got to see how this is affecting your life. Those weeks turn into months. Hey, you've got to do something. Like, can't you see how this is affecting you? Those months turn into years. Well, I keep trying to understand, like, why are you doing this? Why are you going down this path? And it's just, I try to be understanding and I try to be helpful, but it just keeps resulting in the same thing. That's when empathy becomes hard, challenging, when we are doing everything within ourselves to see our friends who may be running off a cliff and saying, hey, stop. If you keep going, you're going to fall over. And yet they keep going. It's hard to be understanding of that when you see someone who's hurting, who's in pain. You don't want them to have that. And what I've learned from some of my work is that there is no limit to our compassion. There is no limit to our empathy. And it takes work, and we have to continue to try and be connected and to be with those people. And if you can't find it within yourself, then find it within your God. Find it within your higher power, something beyond you. Find it within your community for the people that are loving and that care. Let's go to the next slide. So, can empathy be taught? Yes. The way I've learned is taking it from what that person is giving me, listening, taking it in, actively taking that on, not interrupting. If I have a question, it's a question to understand. I listen, I take it, it goes down to my heart to feel it first. Oh my goodness, this person's lost their home. Oh, Children's Aid just took their family away. Oh, this person is going to be arrested. Oh, they're facing incarceration. They're going to lose a lot. They're going to lose their supports. And taking it from the heart back up to the logic mind. Okay, so this is the conflict that I'm feeling. And when I see at the fourth spot, the gentle guess, we may not exactly have the same experience as the people that are struggling around us, but we can sit and we can take a guess as to what it would be like to be through that. Oh, you've just lost your car. Oh, now you can't get to work. Oh, now you can't take your kids to school. Oh, all these things are happening. Oh, from the heart, oh, that feels like a lot of loss. That feels like, oh, how am I going to provide for myself? How am I going to support myself? And then from the logic mind is, that's heavy. That's a lot to carry. I imagine it's very difficult for you to think of what you want to do next. You know, Pastor shared earlier, people who are struggling have so much trouble seeing how things could work. There's so much uncertainty. I don't know the future. I don't know what that is. And to give them hope or faith takes a bit of time, but we have to understand them first. This is what your struggle is. Because if we give them advice that doesn't land, that's causing more harm. Well, just do this. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with me. On to the next one, please. This is important to me. We cannot reach people if we reject them. There are people there that are hurt. They are stigmatized. They feel like they aren't a part of this world. And if we come to them and we say, you're not, but fix yourself. What message is that saying? I don't want you a part of my community. I don't want you a part of my life, but work it out. We have to take a step into trying to learn how to be with people and understand. And that understanding might take days, it might take weeks, it might take more than one option of talking and taking in what's going on in their world. But if we don't take time to let people in, we're not being the communities that we need. And I will say this again, it's not for everyone. Some people have that ability to just step in and understand people and what they're going through. Some, it takes more time, it takes more understanding. Next slide, please. So as a recovery coach, I lead with empathy. I'm not meant to tell you what to do. I'm not meant to guide. I'm here and I go, what did it take for you to get to this place? So I imagine everyone in this room are here for a reason. And you don't have to tell me that reason, but I'm curious about it. What did it take for you to become the person you are today? What did it take for you to take a stand and to be someone who wants to be a part of that community? What did it take for you to support someone else who is here standing on stage, sharing themselves or wanting to make sure that we support a community of people we may not even know in our time? It takes something. We get curious about that. We learn why they are here, learning about their values, learning about that thing inside of them that is their core sense of self. And that act in our coaching is the guiding light. I have many clients that come to me and they say, nobody's ever asked me what I wanted. I've been told to come here. Somebody told me that I have to take this treatment. Somebody told me that I had to, pay this process or get help and get support. And sometimes it takes people off guard when I go, well, what do you want? Sometimes it's as simple as I want to be left alone, or I want to be a better father. I want to be someone who can look himself in the mirror and not have shame and not feel weak. Has anyone ever been called weak before because of a struggle that they're going through? How does that land? Not great, right? And so the message that we give to people, we have to understand them before we guide them. Next slide, please. Part of my work is with dealing with men who have caused harm, either in society, who have hurt other individuals. Sometimes that's sexual harm, sometimes that is assault. And I talk about having empathy, but I have to teach it as well. Because many times, the people who have caused harm don't realize what they are doing to others. They don't realize the impact. And so when we get into conversation with those people, we teach them empathy. What happened? How do you feel like these things affected? How do you feel like your victims or the people that you harmed, how do you think they're interacting with life now after your actions? And it's a hard conversation, very challenging, and yet we do it so that they know better. Because it's easy to ignore it. A lot of things that happen in addiction are, I will rationalize, well, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'll minimize, it didn't really bother anybody, or will do a whole bunch of things to make it say, okay, I just don't want to think about it. I want to separate my problem from me. And yet it's still a part of us. And part of the journey is facing ourselves. And so we set up systems and questions to allow people to really sit. Because when they truly understand the impact they've had on others, they realize they need to do better, and it propels them to think differently. Next slide, please. So, tips for we can do for building empathy. Cultivate curiosity. Start wondering. You've seen on TV those celebrities and those interviewers on the news, and they really want to get to know that person. Oh, what makes you tick? When you started on that film, what motivated you? Finding out and getting curious about those motivators. Step out of your comfort zone. Talk to someone you may not be used to talking to. Whether it's someone in your life, someone you may potentially disagree with, someone who has a view different or outside of yours. And C, I have there too, difficult, respectful conversations. I think we're at a time where it's very difficult to have opinions. There's been consequences for that. And beyond, how do we hold ourselves in healthy debate? How do we disagree with each other and still hold each other in regard and respect? It's challenging right now. Current events have shown that it can be challenging. People are scared to stand up and speak. And even if people are saying things that are hurtful, and painful, that has an impact on us. And how do we learn how to speak in a way that disagrees but doesn't cause harm? It's challenging. Receive feedback. I'm not always great at this one. Letting people know that when I share with them, they can give me something back and say like, hey, that thing you said wasn't cool. It didn't hit, or you really missed the point there. And to be open to that instead of saying, whatever, man. Examine your biases. Who here has a bias? I see the hands. I know I do. Anyone who's not a Raptors fan. I am a person that has come with a particular experience. I think differently than others based off of those experiences. And I don't have to challenge people, but I do have to understand that they're going to have their own biases too. And even if it's like, I'm not comfortable around that type of person, I need to have that awareness. Because if it's too much for me, I step away, or I create the right boundaries to be like, hey, we're going to talk about a certain topic. Let's not bring politics into it, or let's not bring this into it. Or if you're going to have that conversation, be open to some feedback. Read widely. It's been well known that reading nonfiction helps us think in the minds of different people. And that incites us to see how different people have walked in life. Walk in their shoes. I wear size 14 if anybody wants to try that out. No takers, that's fine. Walking in another person's shoes is learning to find out about the experience of others. There's many of you who come from another country. I had a client in Mali that I connected with and learned so much about his culture and how he lived and how he just managed his life. So different from what I have here in Canada. I know all of you have unique, powerful, and great stories. There must be amazing things that have happened in your life to make you into the person you are today. And part of my love of being a recovery coach is finding out what those things are. I find out about the beautiful things that make you who you are, what gives you strength, what was really hard, what are the things you overcame. I think we underestimate how powerful we are. I really do. Next slide. My information here, my social media, QR code, all that jazz. I'm here because I care. I've fallen. I felt like I wasn't enough. I felt like I wasn't a part of, and I went through a journey to come back. And any one of you, no matter how dark it gets, there is hope. And we talked earlier, we were all standing in line and we were walking across, talking about, the things out of life, the thoughts that we've had. And I know some of you may have had those thoughts, but didn't feel comfortable stepping in front and being seen in that way. I want to tell you and leave that invitation that we can have that conversation. And I will hold that in care. I will hold that in kindness, and I will hold that in compassion. I think that's my last slide, but go to the next one. Oh, thank you. All right, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for showing up.
While we wait for our lunch, if anybody has a burning question that cannot wait, can ask it now. Otherwise, we still have him after lunch, and Professor will also be around, as well as Pastor Reverend Koja. Is it Reverend Pastor or Pastor Reverend? Okay, as I please. Thank you so much. I love you all so very much. Mr. Sebeliba has a burning question that can't wait.
Thank you very much. My question, I don't know whether it is directed to Kai or Pastor Jumba or professor. So the question is, do you think our cultural dynamics are responsible for creating or pushing us towards like committing suicide or into depression, something like that? So like the way society was set, for example, you find that Pastor Jumba mentioned about, I think there was a topic when he was saying what people call other people when they go into mental breakdown. Like maybe they, instead of being empathetic or putting themselves in your shoes, they end up judging you. So do you think, is it the cultural dynamics that have created losing hope? As Kai said, that you lose hope and you feel that you don't have anyone to support you. So that is my question. I don't know. And one of the, either Pastor Jumba or both, you can answer that question. Thank you.
Or each of them can answer in their own views.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Sabaliba. I'll stand. I'll just quickly say something, then I'll give the microphone to my friends here. So I have to say, oh, I was trying to locate you. There you are. So first I have to say, the word, when you said the word responsible, I twitched a little bit. Yeah. So when we are trying to dissect, if I can use that word, if you're trying to dissect, how is it that this person has moved from wherever they were, so a healthy mind, to this place when they are now actively and seriously thinking to end their life. There are many things that we need to listen to try to be able to answer the question, what is responsible? So the word responsible made me twitch. So I have to say, culture enough is not, culture alone is not enough to explain how it is that one individual is now seriously, because of what their culture has said back to them, they are now seriously thinking suicide. There's a study, it's common in the army, when they are studying PTSD, you take two soldiers who see exactly the same situation, but as they go back to life, if I may, or to the community, one of them significantly struggles to function because of the things they saw, and the other somehow functions. Not that they are not struggling, they are struggling, but they function. They are not actively suicidal, they are not making attempts to take their own lives, they are functional in society. Then how do you explain that? They saw the same things, they experienced the same trauma, but now somehow their response is different. So the quick answer is, there are many reasons that we have to allow ourselves to be comfortable in admitting that it's not simplistic like that to say that only one thing can explain why one individual is now actively struggling to live to the point that they are attempting to take their own life. So that's a long answer because I don't have a quick one. But to say that culture contributes, 100%. Culture can contribute to some of the things that I'm going to call them don't help. There are many things that we can do when people are struggling with mental illness that just don't help. They just make the situation worse. Culture is definitely one of them. But I could not ever, in fact, even point out one thing. It's like the expression of peeling the onion. Mental illness is so multi-layered when it comes to explaining what is responsible. I just want to maintain the word you used. What is responsible for this? My friends definitely could add something there. But yes, if you, because of your culture, If you're doing things that make things worse, don't feel like I just gave you permission to continue doing them because I said culture is alone does not explain why people struggle with suicide. Yes, it contributes. So please, if what you've said to the person before did not help, don't repeat it. Don't repeat it.
Thank you. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with Pastor as well. I think it definitely contributes. And I think we are complex. We hold multitudes. There's many things that are within us that bring us to this place. Many times when I talk with men in addiction, they try and find out, whoa, what was that one thing, that event that happened? And what we've found is that it could be a lot of little things that led up to it, or it could be one big thing. Loss of a family, loss of a loved one, loss of a child can be one of those big examples. And sometimes it's just little elements of, I didn't have the things in my life that were supporting me. Culturally, I have a client right now struggling with, I'll say, adult content. He's a gay man from Jamaica. And in Jamaica, it's not a conversation that people want to have. We don't even talk about it. And so if there isn't a space for that conversation, what can happen? Someone has to learn about themselves through means that aren't healthy. Dare I say they're aggressive, they're hurtful. And so to be in spaces where it's not seen, mental health isn't even accepted. I'm so grateful to be in a space where people are trying to learn what is mental health. This is important. It seems to be affecting the people around me. I want to come to it because in some cultures that's not a thing. Yamad. And those labels and things, we can't connect in that way. Seeing the multitudes of people peeling the layers off the onion, what a beautiful element, because there are so many layers on an onion. And so we have to hold space to say, yes, culture is a factor, economics is a factor, how you are seen in the world, the color of your skin, even within our own communities, for me to show up as a light-skinned Black man as opposed to someone with a darker complexion, oh, you're not Black enough. Too Black. Yes. Have we heard this? Or how many times have we heard, be a man? What does that mean? What does that mean to be a man? And who's defining that for us? We talk with some of the men in our harm groups we talk to them about values. Oh, to be a man means to make a lot of money. To be a man means that I have to have notches on my belt. I need to be strong. I need to be cool. I need to have it all together. There's no problems. I can handle it. And we ask them, where did that come from? And oftentimes, well, my father, he told me that's what I need. And you said, in your experience, when you went through life, was that true? And many times it's no, it was actually a lot harder. It was complex. And so is that something we want to hold on to, or do we want to try differently? What are the values that we want to hold on to? And sometimes we have to break those chains of, okay, this is how it's always been. And we get to have a choice of, okay, I get to change that. I want to pass it on to Edward. Thank you.
So my quick answer is yes. Yes. Hands up if before you came to Canada, you attended a mental health conference. Hands up. Two people. Hands up if before you came to Canada, you saw a mental health practitioner. Yeah, one-on-one. Yeah, hands up. So is it possible that there are no people with mental health illness in Uganda? Is it possible? Why then is there no discussion of it? Why then is there no manifestation of this kind of conversation? Culture. In Uganda, mental health is stigmatized. By the way, mental health is stigmatized here in our communities, but it is so stigmatized in Uganda. Let me ask you this question. Any one of the Ugandan languages, what is the word for mental health? Mulalu. Mad, extreme. We go to the very extreme, right? And no one wants to be associated with that characterization, right? So we don't have the conversation, we don't talk about it. And because we don't talk about it, we don't present for diagnosis. Because we don't present for diagnosis, we don't have treatment, right? Culture. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our speakers for this early afternoon, Professor Grace Edward Galauzi, Kai. What's your other name? The pronunciation of your other name?
Oh, my last name?
Yes.
Fox.
Yeah, Kai Fox. And Reverend Pastor Jumba Eddie. Others call him Eddie Jumba. I call him Jumba Eddie. Okay. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going for a group photograph before we go for lunch. After the group photograph, we go for lunch. And the lunch. Ladies and gentlemen, the group photograph, please.